So far, the editing of it is basically just cutting out all the breaths and pushing it all together because there was such a lot I wanted to say within that time. I wanted to get the titles in, the title of my thing, the phrase. I didn't even say where it was from. So I know that I've stated it in the form that I submitted, but it doesn't state it there, when maybe I should have actually put that in. Editing it together, yeah, it's jump cuts.
He was all for the money, and his wife convinced him of that. So amidst all the gambling, he started to drown in his own life through greed.
It just jumps
His whole
from one
world
position
came
to another.
crashing down. He had no wife, no home, no friends. He was all alone with the embarrassment of what he'd become. One day, as he was busking for his next meal, something unexpected happened.
To smooth that out, I probably should have maybe added some pictures that I'd found to relate to my story. To make it more interesting, I could have done that. Whereas last year, that's what I actually did. For the future development in this part, I probably should have added more things to make my pitch as a whole more dynamic and interesting, by adding those pictures, maybe adding a little bit of film that I've shot, maybe adding bits of the storyboards that I've created, or I mean, I can't draw, so it would have been stickmen, but probably, more abstract and scribbly. It could have looked nicer maybe than just my whole face throughout the whole of it, jumping from one position to another. So yeah, smoothing that out next time by adding the pictures would be better, because I don't think it really works. I don't think it works. But maybe that's because I've just looked at it for too long, or watched it for too long, or maybe just because I really don't like it. I should have done so many things to it, like for instance shooting it correctly in the first place, so I didn't have to correct it, wasting more time. So maybe the next time I enter this competition, the ideal pitch would be maybe to include the ideas from my past submission, which got to the long list, and use the abstract images to enhance the story, and then use this year's submission with me just talking to camera, and combine the two, and then try to do both to emphasize the points. Maybe I could even go a step further by adding video to it. Gives it a little bit of motion, a little bit more of a feel to it. But doing this will only be possible by giving myself enough time to be able to plan and produce it, rather than rushing it all. That's what I take from that.